Russia's Ministry of Defense says it has withdrawn some of its troops from the Ukrainian border. The announcement comes after weeks of escalating tensions between Russia, Ukraine and the West, for fear that Moscow might attack even Ukraine. There are a number of parties who believe Russia will carry out an attack on Wednesday. 16-02-2018 Russian Ministry of Defense Igor Conation Tuesday, February 15, 2022 said the units of the southern and western military districts have completed their task. Troops started boarding the rail and highway transport and started moving towards their bases. It is not clear how many troops Russia will withdraw. Some military exercises including with its ally Belarus, which also borders Ukraine, continue until Tuesday. Onaksin Coffee said other troops stationed on the Ukrainian border could follow the return movement, including those stationed in Belarus. When the combat training is over, the troops as usual will march together to the point of permanent deployment, he said. The Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov later confirmed of the start of the troop withdrawal and again denounced Western hysteria by citing the possibility of a temporary invasion. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said Tuesday, February 15, 2022 will go down in history as the day when Western war propaganda failed. They were humiliated and crushed without a single shot being fired, she said. In response to Russia's announcement, Ukraine still did not believe in the previous village event and withdraw all its troops from the border. We have a rule: don't believe what you hear, believe what you see, the Ukrainian foreign minister said in the Metropole buzz. When we see a withdrawal we will believe in the escalation, he added. While the Secretary General of NATO was installed down and said that the withdrawal of troops is not the same as losing. In fact, he chose to be optimistic but remain cautious. Russia in recent months has amassed more than 130,000 troops near its border with Ukraine. Kremlin insisted the action was in response to Western aggression and to carry out military exercises. America and Western countries warned Russia could attack at any time. In fact, many countries have withdrawn their diplomats and urged their citizens to leave Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has even issued a decree setting the date February 16, 2022 as a national holiday. This is because the Russian orphans will carry out the Zelensky attack, saying that February 16 will be a day of unity to fight against the aggression of other countries. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he saw no evidence of the withdrawal of Russian troops from his country's borders. He said Moscow was only rotating its troops. We saw only minor rotations. I would not call this rotation a withdrawal of troops by Russia. We can't say that, he said in a statement broadcast by Ukrainian television. We don't see any change. He added. In response to the Belarusian training in Russia and also the tension was considered to have not abated at all. Ukraine also held an exercise with the theme of snows in 2022 where Zelensky watched his troops train with new Western-supplied anti-tank weapons near the Rivne west of the capital. NATO accuses Russia of misleading the world by saying it is pulling troops back to base. NATO reports instead that Moscow is adding as many as 7,000 more troops near the Ukrainian border. We have seen the opposite of some of Russia's statements. We have seen an increase in troops over the last 48 hours to 7,000 troops, said the British Defence Minister Bites Sheet at the NATO alliance meeting in Brussels. Russia finally reacted by rejecting what he called as unfounded by America and NATO that they are not withdrawing troops from near the border with Ukraine. The Kremlin says it will take time to stop military exercises and pulled the army of. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told a press conference that the Russian Ministry of Defense has a clear schedule for the withdrawal of units. The input to their permanent bases is clearly deployments for exercises built over weeks, and of course it is impossible to withdraw them all in one day. They can't take off and fly just like that. It takes time, Peskov says, and as usual the American accusations are unfounded, he added. Ski Street said that there was no sign of the Russians reducing their troop numbers in selenium tanks near Ukrainian territory, although some military units from its Crimea and several military units left their positions near Ukraine, but the Ukrainians didn't seem willing. Even the plane president of the Zelensky brand flew directly to monitor the war exercises of the Ukrainian soldiers. Ukrainian tanks can be seen firing shells and speeding across undulating terrain while their soldiers train with Tanty missiles, and also from the British. This took place near the city of Rivne, Ukraine. It even looks like the coordination of look at Rivne is very good, bro. Doesn't it seem like they really want to make sure that the defense equipment they buy expensively from America is not hollow like your knees? This exercise is part of the Zamethyl 2000s of 22 exercise, is a harsh answer to the joint exercises of Russia and Belarus. Not only watching military exercises, the Ukrainian president even flew directly to the frontline city of Mariupol to check the readiness of the troops there. We are not afraid of anyone, any enemy. said Zelensky. When Western intelligence warned Moscow could attack at any time, we would defend ourselves, said President Zelensky. Ukraine, and the West denied Russia has made major cuts in troop withdrawals on the ground. Russia's massive buildup of missile forces and warships around Ukraine is cited as Europe's worst security risk since the end of the Cold War. The United States last Wednesday dismissed reports that Russia was withdrawing troops from the Ukrainian border and even reportedly, according to stories, continue to add troops. America will continue to add troops to Eastern Europe,